Hi there, welcome back to True Gooner. And in this hangout here, I'm here with James Cook from AFC Game by Game. And in this video here, we're just going to go through the Euros because the Euros is just around the corner. We're just going to go about what we think, who's going to win it, and the England team as a whole, and the Gooners at the Euros. So, how are you, James? You all right?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. How's yourself?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Looking forward to this tournament. First of all, we're going to come across England. Now, what do you think our chances are of actually going on to win it? Do you think we have a good chance? Do you like the squad?
To be honest with you, I think we've got next to no chance of winning it, if I'm going to be very brutally honest. I think this squad is a very, very exciting one in terms of youth players that are coming through in the names of Marcus Rashford, etc. It's a shame that we haven't got the likes of Danny Welbeck there. I think he'll be a sorely missed player. Raheem Sterling hasn't really performed this season. There's a lot of inconsistent names in that team, and you do have to question how well someone like Jack Wilshere is going to play, how well someone like Jordan Henderson's going to play. Some very established players in there, in the likes of Kane, Vardy, who've been phenomenal this season. Wayne Rooney's come into a good bit of form towards the end of last season. And then you've got players like Eric Dyer, the fullbacks from Tottenham Hotspur, who I hate to say have been really good for them this season. So it's a formidable England team. The defence worries me. I don't think we've got good enough centre-back options in Cahill, Smalling and Stones. Those three simply aren't good enough for me to go on and win a tournament of this calibre. When you look at Germany, who have got Hummels at the back, Italy, who've got the likes of Chiellini, Spain, who've got PK, etc. So it's going to be a massive uphill task for us to win it. I think realistically we're looking at the quarterfinals, where I think we'll come up against Portugal. I'm not entirely sure on that though, but that'll be a mammoth task for us. We can't really take too much information out of the game that we played against them the other night, where we beat them 1-0. That was a really poor performance on our behalf, I thought. And given that Portugal just won 7-0, really shows they're fired up for the tournament. And generally it's an exciting England team. If it wasn't Roy Hodgson in charge, then I think I'd be a little bit more optimistic. I don't really rate Roy Hodgson as a manager that can perform on this level. But, maybe I'll be eating my words in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, well, I actually think this England team is actually pretty refreshed. The only thing, of course, that gets me, of course, as you said, the defence isn't that strong. And I don't actually think we've got enough width in the team because we've only got the likes of Raheem Sterling, Adam Lallana, okay, Dele Alli and Daniel Sturridge can play out on the wings, but I don't think there's a lot of width in the team, and I don't think there's enough creativity in those areas. I think Jack Wilshere's one, Ross Barkley's one, and Dele Alli can do a job. But yeah, I do actually think we could do well, but I think it mainly comes down to the luck of the draw or how well they actually perform. So what would starting 11 would you feel is the strongest? What would be the strongest starting 11? How would you go?
I think it's quite a simple one, to be honest. Sky Sports tweeted out what was the fans' choice of players that they want to see start in the tournament against Russia, and it's the exact same as what I'd go for. That would be Hart in goal, Carl Walker and Danny Rose at fullback, Smalling and Cahill, the two most experienced options at centre half. Dyer playing that holding role. Just in front of Dyer, you've got Ali and Wilshere. Both have been our flair players, both very exciting to watch. Wilshere, his fitness is always going to be questionable. I'd hope against Russia in a game where he's going to get a real chance to prove himself on the world stage. Massive opportunity for him. If he starts, which I have a horrible feeling he won't be starting this game against Russia, they might ease him in, similarly to how they did with the World Cup, where he didn't really get a game in that tournament. Then just in front of those two, Wayne Rooney, who I think definitely gets in there above Lallana and Raheem Sterling, who haven't been that exceptional towards the end of the season. And up top, it picks itself. Harry Kane and Jamie Vardy, two of England's standout performers this season with 24 and 25 goals apiece. So very exciting team, and one that I would hope can get a convincing result against Russia and kickstart this Euros campaign.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's always important for England to get a good start so they can actually get confidence. And yeah, I like the team that you've got there. I'm surprised you've gone for would you really start Carl Walker instead of Nathaniel Klein? Because I'm personally trying to go with Klein because I think he's a bit quicker. I think he's a bit better than Walker. But of course, Walker is a good player. No unspurs and bias. But
I do think Walker is questionable at defence, but a bit similar to Hector Bellerin. he's got that pace which allows for him to make up for his defensive errors at times, and I certainly think that he uses that to his advantage. He seemed to play really well against Portugal the other night. Like I said previously, we can't take a lot from that game, but he looks really up for it. He's got that little bit more tenacity than Nathaniel Klein. He's a bit more outgoing, willing to take more of a risk, whereas Klein's a very safe, very reserved player. He can get to the byline pretty well. I think he's a very good player going forward, defensively more stable, but in a game where, you know, we're going to need all the creativity that we can muster going forward, Walker, for me, is the more sensible option to go with. But it's good to know that we've got an alternative player, such as Nathaniel Klein, in the ranks if we do need to mix it up, because Walker has shown at times that he can be prone to inconsistency.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with you there. So that's basically on England. We've also got another home nation in there, Wales. Of course, there's Aaron Ramsey you've got in there, and they've got Gareth Bale. Do you reckon they could do something in this tournament? We'll have a bit of chat about them.
Wales, I think Wales have got something that England lack quite severely, and that is a real drive and determination. And that's not me being unpatriotic. I really want to see England do well, but Wales have shown, I think, that little bit more grit, that little bit more determination, because they don't have the elite players that England have, but they've got such a good work ethic, the likes of James Collins, Joe Ledley, players that performed so well for them in their international campaign. And I fully expect them to really push to get out of the group stages. And I think they will do that. I think it should be England and Wales going through to the next round of the tournament, but it's going to be a big ask for them. Ramsey has to start performing for them, because I watched the game with their loss to Sweden, and he was very disappointing in that game. And then you've got Gareth Bale, who is unquestionably one of the best players in the world. It's just a case of whether they can all dig in and show the fighting character they have done up until this point.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Of course, this is their first tournament for a very long time, so
yeah, 58 years.
Yeah, it'll be a big experience for them. I do think, like I agree with you, they can get out of the group, but I think the second round is more what we're looking for, because I think it's a bit too big for them at this stage, for them to go quite a long way. So that's that on Wales, but obviously I hope they do well. And we'll take a look at some of the usual suspects now. Of course, we've got the holders France, who are guaranteed to do well. How do you think they'll do? Do you reckon they're definitely a candidate to go on and win it, one of the favourites? So do you reckon they'll have a good tournament?
Yeah, they are the favourites to win it, and I'd be heavily inclined to get behind them, being in their own nation. Of course, they're going to have that extra advantage of having the crowd behind them. They've got exceptional players in almost every position of the pitch, and as well as that, alternative players in every option. Up top, for example, Olivier Giroud and Anthony Martial, two very different players, one very pacey, one very good in the air. Then you've got someone like Antoine Griezmann, add him into the equation. Phenomenal front line that they've got there, and so many different options as well. When you look into the midfield, Blaise Matuidi, Paul Pogba, very exciting team. The only thing that might let them down is potentially the defence, with the news that Rafael Varane is going to miss the tournament. That could hinder them slightly, but with Koscielny and I don't know if Sacco's gone. I can't remember if he's not there, if he's there or not because of his.
He's not there.
No, I didn't think he was because of his drug ban, but I'm assuming it will be Koscielny, and I'm not too sure who he'll line up against. But they've got Matthew there at Barcelona, so they've got good defensive options, but questionable ones at times. I do think they're prone to conceding. Will they miss Benzema, given that he's not been elected to go to the tournament? That will remain to be seen. But I think they've got one of the strongest, healthiest, well-nourished squads in the whole of the Euros, and I think they've got all the potential to go on and lift the trophy at the end of July.
Yeah, definitely. They're definitely a candidate. And what about on another usual suspect is Germany? Of course, they won the last World Cup, and they've got the likes of Mesut Ozil going, and Marco Reus isn't. So do you reckon they'll have a good tournament?
Germany have got the potential at the moment to be what Spain were before their cataclysmic World Cup in 2014. They could be the nation that kind of overtakes the world, wins the World Cup, then goes on to win the Euros, then has a really good World Cup again, then potentially goes on to win the Euros again. They could be that team if they show that fighting character that we've mentioned previously on this video. Joachim Löw's got a very good squad at his disposal. Mesut Ozil, Thomas Müller, Toni Kroos, Hummels, very exciting team all around there. Really well regimented. They had a superb World Cup, beating the likes of Brazil 7-1. That wasn't all that long ago, only 2 years. So they're going into this tournament very fresh, very rejuvenated. I think they're going to be itching to get started. They haven't had the most convincing warm up to the tournament, but I wouldn't really pay too much attention to that. I think they're holding it all in reserve for what should be a sublime tournament on their behalf. They've definitely got the potential to go on and win it.
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. They've got the potential to go and win it, and yeah, as you said, they've got the potential to go on and dominate football because they've just got such a good squad. I was like saying in my formal preview earlier, if you could do that for likes of Marco Royce's team, I'm like, wow, because that must be a phenomenal squad they've got. And we're gonna have a look at two other usual suspects. One of them is Spain, who won the last two tournaments and a World Cup in between. Of course, their squad I still think is good enough to go on and win it because I actually tipped them to win it to retain the tournament. What do you reckon? Of course, they've got lots of a lot of Premier League players missing, but I still think their squad on the whole is very strong. So what do you reckon about Spain?
It's a big ask for them to go on and win it 3 times on the bounce. That would be unheard of. But they've got the potential to do it. Their squad is fresher from the one that went to the World Cup. They've got rid of a couple old hat players in the likes of Xavi. They've brought in newer players in the names of Morata. Hector Bellerin's come into the squad in place of the injured Dani Carvajal. They've got very good centre-back options in Piqué and Ramos. At left-back, Azpilicueta, a very well-regimented defence. Then in goal, De Gea, Casillas, phenomenal options there. The midfield, Cesc Fabregas, Iniesta, David Silva. Exceptional team. And then up top with Nolito, Morata, like I say, very refreshing team. But the thing they're missing is a prolific goal scorer. They've had that in the past with the likes of Fernando Torres, David Villa, but they haven't really got that now. Morata hasn't really been a consistent goal scorer over time. He's still very young, so he's got his best years ahead of him, but he hasn't really done it yet on the world stage. He's scored some big goals at big times, such as in the Juventus final at the end of last season where they won the Italian Cup. So he is a very exciting player, very exciting team to watch all around Spain. But I think, I can understand why you tipped them to win it, but I do feel they are going to fall at the final hurdle where they do lack that extra bit of quality up top.
Yeah, definitely. They do lack a proven goal scorer, but maybe I reckon with the creativity behind him, I reckon this will help the likes of Morata and their other strikers to actually help them to go on and score more goals, and because they've just got so much creativity behind them, that's what I base it. I think they've actually got the best midfield of the tournament. Do you agree with me there, or do you think Germany or France have the best midfield?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you agree that I personally think Spain will win it because of their midfield and their lack of creativity is just phenomenal. And even though they haven't got a proven goal scorer, they will. I still think most of those midfielders will bang it through to Morata and just help them get more goals. Do you reckon that would be the more case?
I think they've got to play a lot differently to how they deploy themselves at the World Cup because they were so easy to read, playing that intricate tiki-taka type of football. Del Bosque's got a big task in his hands to try and alternate the type of football that they're going to play. They're going to have to play counter-attacking at times. They're going to have to react to the opposition that they're facing. It's a big task for them, given that they haven't got that lethal goal scorer up top. But like you say, with the creative players they've got in David Silva, Iniesta, Cesc Fabregas, they could potentially. The world is their oyster in that sense. They could go on and score a whole handful of goals, but as I say, without someone to put it in the back of the net, it could be a different story for them.
Yeah, definitely. And the final one I'm going to have a look at is Belgium. They've been a team that's kind of come out of nowhere for the last couple of years, but they're actually one of the favourites to win it. And I really think De Bruyne is going to have a brilliant tournament because I think, their best player. What do you make of Belgium? Do you reckon they stand a good chance of winning this? Or?
You look at their team on paper, Alderweireld, Jan Vertonghen at centre half, very good midfield with De Bruyne, Mertens, Nainggolan, very exciting team around. Then up top in the options of Benteke, Lukaku, Eden Hazard. Superb team with such an array of young, talented players that could, similar to Germany, if they wanted to, Belgium, if they got the cohesion right, they could go on to dominate football for maybe not dominate football, but dominate Europe for a couple of years. They have got a lot of potential, and we said that going into the last World Cup. But for me, they underperformed. They did get to, I can't quite remember if they got to the quarters or the semis, but their quarters. I think they underachieved last World Cup. I really do think they did. They were very unconvincing when they played the USA. I remember them scraping past in that game. It's a very difficult tournament for them. I'm not too sure who their manager is, but they should really be getting to at least the semi-finals with the talent that they've got on offer. So it should be an interesting tournament from a Belgian perspective.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to seeing how they do in this tournament. Have you got any other teams apart from the five that we mentioned that you feel that could do well? Of course, I've listed out the likes of Portugal, Croatia, Italy. Is there any one of those who you possibly think could get to the semis that could do well?
Croatia have got a sublime midfield. Italy have got an exciting team all round, but albeit an ageing team. I think you've got to be looking at teams like Switzerland as well. I think they've got a very healthy squad, lots of young players coming in there. Not the best defence, but up top, very good players. Even our own player in there, Granit Xhaka. And then you look at other teams such as Turkey. I think they stand an outside chance. And I really do think the home nations for ourselves in the likes of Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, well, not Ireland, but I think those are the teams that are going to do well because of their fighting character, grit, determination. Martin O'Neill and Roy Keane have got a very exciting squad with Ireland. So, I mean, it's all a matter of anticipating what's going to happen. I'm very excited to see how it's going to unfold, and all round, can't wait for the tournament to get started.
Yeah, I don't think I can as well. It's just going to be really good to watch. And now we're going to go into our Gooners at the Euros. We've got 10 in total. We've got Wilshere, Bellerin, Mitsubisky, Cech, Xhaka, Ozil, Giroud, Koscielny, Ramsey, and Szczesny. So, which one of these do you reckon will have a massive impact? Which Gooners do you think will have a big impact?
I would like to say Jack Wilshere with England, but I think he's going to be deployed in the same way that we used him at the World Cup. There's all this expectation that he's going to start every single game at the Euros for us, but in reality, he plays off the bench, which I don't think he's going to do England any good because he's such an asset to the England team. I wouldn't delude myself into thinking that he's been really good over the past couple of games that he's played for England. If anything, he's been average at times, but with game time, he'll only become a better player. With match fitness, he'll only become a better player. So against Russia, I'd have no doubts in starting him. He can bring so much to this England midfield. Talented, such a talented player. Someone like Hector Bellerin, I would be surprised if he actually was dropped over one front. I think he's a better player than one front. He's a more exciting, more prolific player going forward. So I think he's got a very good chance to do well with Spain. Granit Xhaka, I mean, I don't really know a lot about him as of yet. I haven't really seen him play, but it's a good opportunity to watch him, see the kind of player that he is and what he can offer to Arsenal Football Club. I'm hoping Ramsey does well with Wales. I think it's vitally important for Arsenal that he does well with Wales because not only has Ramsey been given the number 8 shirt for next season, which is going to pile the pressure on him, but he also needs to be doing a lot for Arsenal because I think he's going to be an integral part of our squad next season in terms of whether we want him to be or not. I think he's going to be in the starting 11 and he has to be playing to the kind of standards that he set himself in 2013-14. It's a shame really because he's got the talent there, but he's just trying too hard to try and unearth it. So he's a player that I want to see do well. I'd like to see Szczesny do well because I think he's got a point to prove regarding his future at Arsenal Football Club. But I mean, apart from that, I'm just hoping that generally everyone comes back without a broken leg.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said in my preview. I just said have a good tournament, do well, and don't come back with any serious injuries because we need pretty much all those players back next season if we're going to do well in the league. And of course, we've got the two French players, Giroud and Koscielny, and we've also got the two Czech Republic players, Rosicky and Cech. How do you reckon they're going to do for their countries? Well, obviously, Koscielny is going to be the main man because Varane was dropped, and Giroud's has got important part because Benzema dropped. So,
I mean, Giroud's been playing really well for France the past couple of games. Got some really good goals. I don't know if you saw his back heel goal that he got just the other day. Phenomenal finish that. He's in his prime, really. He's going to be 30 in a couple of months' time. So we could be looking at this as his last major tournament, considering he's a striker. Strikers don't normally go into their 30s, really, unless there's Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So big tournament for him if he wants to keep his fitness up, which I think he'll have no problems with whatsoever. But I do honestly think he could be one of the top scorers. With odds at 15-1, I mean, he'd be mental to have a tenner on it. He really could do well with the players that he's got behind him, the service that he's going to be receiving. So big tournament for him. Koscielny, like you say, he's going to be the main man in the heart of that France team, which is only going to do him good considering that he is being tipped for Arsenal captain next season. Of course, there's nothing confirmed on that, but it would be good for him to have a commanding World Cup and come back with a European medal. And then regarding Rosicky and Czech, shame to see Rosicky go. That goal we got last week was absolutely sensational. Petr Cech, I mean, what can you really say about him? World-class goalkeeper. Just hope he keeps his consistency and his fitness up over the summer.
Yeah, definitely, of course. Czech, I feel, is like their main man for the Czech Republic, and of course, Giroud and Koscielny have a massive part to play. Giroud, as he's the only striker, but he's also got the likes of. There's no Benzema now, so there's likes of Martial coming through, and Griezmann can also do a good job up front because he's had a phenomenal season. So there's big pressure for him as well, and there's also Koscielny's got point to prove, as you mentioned, Varane is out. So yeah, and obviously, of course, the one we haven't mentioned is Mesut Ozil, and with the guys around him, do you reckon he would have a good tournament? Do you reckon he'll carry?
He has to. He has to have a good tournament because he was slated in the media during the 2014 World Cup. I'm not going to slate him because I thought he didn't do that badly in 2014. I thought he was very integral to Germany's World Cup win. But what people want to see is him performing, elegantly. They want to see him putting in really good, hard-working performances. And it's vital that he does that. He's added that to his game. He's a grafter now. He's playing a lot better football. In my opinion, he's adding a lot more to the game. And it's just vital that he has a really good World Cup on the back of what has been an outstanding season for him. Admittedly, dropped off in the second half of the season, but so did the entire Arsenal team. So I'm not going to really pinpoint him on that one. So I am hoping that he racks up a couple of assists, gets a few goals, comes back to Arsenal as a very confident and matured player. He's coming into his peak now at 27 years old. Massive tournament for him, and I'm wishing him all the best.
Yeah, definitely, of course. It's very vital that he has a good tournament and he helps Germany thrive. Like I'm sure he will because he's such a brilliant player. And I did actually think he did quite well in the last World Cup. I know that miss he had against Brazil, which was a little bit poor, but overall, if you watch that game, he actually assisted quite a lot of their goals. So
yeah, he's coming up to 28 now as well, which I didn't know about him.
Oh, really? Is he that old?
When in October, so in a few months' time, he'll be 28. That's gone really quickly.
He has gone certainly quickly. And when you mentioned Giroud was 30, I'm thinking, wow.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah, it just shows you how quickly time flies. Okay, so we've got a couple of minutes before we wrap this up. Let's just have your views. How do you think England's going to go? Where do you think you're going to progress? Because we're winning it.
I'd like to, like I said at the start, I'd like to think that England have got the potential to go on and win it, but that defence at some point is going to let us down. I'm not going to trick myself into thinking that we're the favourites to go on and win it. But up top, Harry Kane, Jamie Vardy, Wayne Rooney, all these players that can offer so much. Yeah, Daniel Sturridge as well. I mean, all these options we've got. If Raheem Sterling starts playing well, then all these options. Rashford could play a part.
Yeah,
I still think it's a bit ludicrous that he's going at such a young age. But
I think they did that because remember Theo Walcott in the 2006 World Cup.
I don't think that helped Walcott's career. Though. He went to the World Cup when he was about 16 or 17 years old. That was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Rashford. I don't see him getting a game. And then you look at someone like Danny Drinkwater, who is outraged. He hasn't got a place in his team. You can't ever feel that we should have taken someone like Drinkwater instead of Marcus Rashford. But I mean, as I say, it's a very exciting team, one that has the potential to go on and at least make it to the quarterfinals. But I think that's realistically where we're looking at this team getting to.
Yeah, so you think the quarterfinals? Yeah, that sounds like a fair shout because I think we can get to the semis. I personally think a semi-final onwards would mainly be.
I'd like to see us do well though, because when England get knocked out, the tournament loses a sense of funness about it. But I mean, it was because the World Cup was so depressing. Because not only did we as long as we don't get off to a bad start, because when we played Italy at the start of the 2014 World Cup, and it was a decent performance from our point of view, but we lost the game 2-1. So we've got to, if we could win 3-0 against Russia, that'd be laying down a marker. That would be saying like we're here, we're with intent, and then go on to that game against Wales, where we, if we beat Russia convincingly, we might only need a point against Wales, and then we get a win against Slovakia, or even another point there. So we do have a lot of potential to do well, but that's all it is at the moment. It's only potential. If it was anyone else but Roy Hodgson managing this team, then I'd have a lot more faith in it. But I'm hoping Roy proves me wrong, and I'm hoping that England play really well this summer.
Yeah, I really hope so too. Yeah, definitely. And the final question I'm going to ask you is, who do you think is going to be the outright winner of this tournament, and who do you reckon will get to the final?
I think it's going to be a France-Germany final, which would be really, really exciting. I think France are going to win it just about on penalties.
Oh, that's what you think, yeah. Like I said earlier, England's winning it. Nah, okay. I personally think Spain will win it because of their creativity, and I just think they've got what it takes to do it. Obviously, I think Germany and France have a good shout out, and of course Belgium have a good shout, and even us have a good chance. But I personally think a Germany-Spain final, and I reckon Spain will nick it in extra time. That's my prediction. But that's what I personally think, and that means you think Koscielny and Giroud will be the last people standing.
Yeah, hopefully an Arsenal player comes back with a medal.
Yeah, definitely. It's always great to see an Arsenal player come out with a medal, because it will do them with good confidence and hopefully help them for when they come back. But it will mean they won't return in time for the start of the season. They'll sit out for about 2 or 3 weeks before.
Yeah, that's the only issue.
That is that factor to be concerned with. But never mind. We look forward to the tournament and enjoy it. Okay, well, thanks, James, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure talking to you. It looks like you know your stuff better than I do. Yeah, but yeah, enjoy the tournament. Are you going to possibly watch any of the games possibly out there?
No, I won't be going to France, sadly, but I don't even have a passport at the moment. But I'll be watching every single game, hopefully live on the telly.
Yeah, so unlikely I'll head up to France, but I'm certainly watching the England game in the few pubs, and I'll miss a Wales game because I'm at work. So, but yeah, it should be an interesting tournament, and I really look forward to it. So, like I said, enjoy the tournament, and also to the people who have watched this video, let me know in the comments below who you think is going to win it, how you think England's going to do, and how you think Arsenal players will do. Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and please subscribe to this channel through Gooners if you haven't done already. And as always, I'll be speaking to you very soon. Thanks, James, once again for joining me. And come on, you Reds, and come on, the England.